Vladimir Coufal has dropped some bombshells in an interview, potentially hinting at a full takeover from Kretinsky. Also, talking about Moyes' style of play, a bit of frustration it seems to be there. And there are rumours linking West Ham with Sarri. Could we be getting Sarri in the summer? Let's see. It is Friday night pint, and we're together. It's me, Dan, we're in Nicky, Scott, and Ryan. Lads, I'm pumped for this one. Big bombshell that came last minute.
Yeah, it is a big bombshell. It is because it's. I've been saying this for a while now. It's the beginning of the end for Moyes, but I don't think it is the beginning of the end for Moyes because it's happening far too often, and it just doesn't seem like we're going to do anything about it. But it just goes to show the discontent at the club at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I know Dan sent it earlier in the chat, and I didn't really have. I've just went through it now, and yeah, it's not great, really. I know. Look, we're in a relegation battle. The last thing we need now is players to start coming out in the press and slagging off the board, the manager, whatever they think of them. Just keep it in house, because we've got a big few weeks coming up. Next Saturday against Southampton is the biggest game of our season because I think even though we won't mathematically be relegated if we lose that game, I think if we do lose that game, up there mentally we'll be relegated, and I think we will go down. So that's a massive game. So look, it could have been taken out of context what he says. You know what the media's like. It's a difficult one, but yeah, I don't really like being players.
Context. What do you want to talk? What do you want to tackle first, the Kretinsky thing or the Moyes thing? Because I've got the quotes.
Start with the Moyes thing because he's a bit more
potent
to what's going on at the minute.
Yes. Basically, okay. Well, this is the first bit where someone's basically asked him like, "Well, why are we not playing well?" And he said, I can't understand it. Maybe the summer window didn't suit us. When a lot of new players arrived and we needed time, we had a certain style that now has to be dug up and probably everything hasn't fit yet. But I'm definitely not saying that it's only the newcomers' fault. In addition, we stopped scoring goals. We conceded a lot simply for our own mistakes, right? And I got the actual Moyes quote about what he said about Moyes. Pure pragmatist. The end justifies the means. I have probably never seen such an orthodox pragmatist when he has results at the expense of everything. Maybe sometimes even the game. There is a lot of pressure on him, and he's putting pressure on us as well. So, yeah, I mean, they've never seen such a pragmatist when it comes to football.
What does pragmatist mean?
It's basically when you're a pragmatic manager, isn't it? It means that you have a don't lose first approach, conservative sort of style of play, defensive. That's the sort of thing when I think of.
Yeah, I mean, I know what it meant, but there's people obviously.
But for people who don't know,
know what it meant. But pragmatist is basically try not to lose. Whatever you sacrifice, just don't lose the game. And it's I don't. It's nothing that hasn't been said by I wouldn't say in the known fans, but fans that can read the football club. We've been saying it all season. Basically, he's sacrificed a lot of the attacking play that we had last season to this. For some reason, he's gone back into his shell. And he's got this don't lose attitude, which we saw very much against Villa. It's not great to be coming out in the press, but on looking at it from a player's point of view, he hasn't been backwards in coming out in the press and basically blaming them.
Yeah.
So, I do understand Coufal's. It's probably with all due respect, it's probably a parting shot from Coufal, really, because he knows he's got to go at the end of the season. If I think he knows he's out the door at the end of the season, it's probably one of them parting shots where, he wasn't doing well for such a long periods of time. But, I was one of them where, I become very tired of Coufal, Coufal's, method of play. And then he picked back up his form, which makes me think he was playing through an injury or something like that. But
well, He did hint. There was a quote that hinted about December and Moyes dropping him. There, he basically said.
He said that Moyes contacted him after the World Cup and said that he
shouldn't have dropped him.
It was a mistake.
Yeah, he wants him to play. He needs him to play.
And I think,
and we do need Coufal. It's good that he's gone away with the Czech Republic squad. You know, and we need him back because he was playing well before he got his injury. You know, he's our best right back at the club. We need him. We need him next. We need him for the rest of the season. So I was just checking my Twitter there because I see a couple of people say I want to sign Paqueta shirt. I ain't won nothing. I think he said, "What have I won?"
It's interesting that Moyes had told him, sorry, I made a mistake to drop you, and basically told him, I was wrong to drop you.
But at the time, I remember Coufal wasn't playing great.
Yep.
So
it's weird that he's second guessed because, like I said, a lot of people would say that it was fair, like you said, to drop him. Now he's saying, "Well, no, it was a mistake. I shouldn't have dropped you. I need you." Apparently, Leverkusen were in for Coufal coming into January, and that's when he started playing him. Maybe he realised, right, well, he could leave. I need to keep him sweet.
And the thing is, we don't need. He's one of the players we don't need leaving at the end of the season. Because if he goes, we're stuck with Johnson and Kehrer as our right backs, and Kehler's inconsistent, and Johnson's gone backwards. Coufal's our only decent right back.
I love the players having the honesty. I really do. But do it in a meeting behind closed doors with the manager and the players. Have a team meeting. Coming out in the press, it just as soon as fans see that, they jump on it straight away.
To me,
Antonio's got a podcast.
That's what I'm saying. Like with the players and that, like for me at the moment, between the players and the managers, it's tit for tat. He's blaming them, they're blaming him, and it just goes to show, how much discontent they do have.
But the thing is, they're blaming him, he's blaming them. Who's the ones that suffer in the end? The fans.
No, of course.
We get relegated. The manager gets sacked. He gets a new job somewhere else. All our top players leave the football club, and we're stuck in the championship.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
No, I know.
This is what happens when a manager loses the players. And the players are fed up, and they're probably frustrated because they think, well, the owners aren't going to do anything, and we could be playing, and you end up venting. And I think he hasn't. Obviously, he should have answered that question a bit more conservative. They've asked him about Moyes and the problems, and asked him, and he's answered it too honestly. Basically, he's been too honest in his answer.
When it's coming to squeaky bum time, pressures. They start to tell, and like if you're, getting blamed for bad performances, look at what Conte done the other day. I mean, in that press conference, I watched that press conference in full. I was chuckling a little bit inside, but if we wasn't in such a bad position ourselves, I would have been fucking cracking up laughing. But it's refreshing to see that, and he's basically, and this is what I liked about Coufal's interview. He's basically confirming what we've all been sort of like, we've all been saying all season, and other people go, no, you don't know what you're talking about. And he's basically confirming that the approach to the games from the manager is not helping the team. It's not helping the players.
He ain't doing himself any favours, is he?
No, he's not doing himself any favours. But then Moyes isn't doing himself any favours.
No, but that's what I was. Yeah, but Moyes at the end of the day, he picks the team. So. You know what I mean? Coufal can scream and shit. Moyes now can turn around and say, well, you're not playing for the rest of the season now.
But I feel like Coufal's obviously gotten to that point where he knows his contract's up at the end of the season. And if Moyes is here and Moyes don't play him, he's like, well, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, but I don't want that from my players when they're in a relegation battle. I don't want to hear that because their contract's running out, they're downing tools and slagging everyone off. Fuck that. Get on the pitch. And help us get out of this thing, and then do it once we stay out. Once we confirmed survival, do what you want. Run on the pitch and say Moyes out. I couldn't give a shit.
I agree. I agree. But then Moyes does it himself. Moyes is happy to dig out players and in interviews and criticize players publicly.
But the way Moyes sees it is sorry, Scott. The way Moyes sees it is them players are letting him down. As Nicky said earlier, the players are letting the manager down. The manager are letting the players down. So
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. They're both doing it. It's tit for tat at the end of the dinner. That's what I'm saying. They're both everything. Moyes shouldn't be criticising the players publicly, and the players shouldn't be criticising Moyes publicly.
But
I just think that all the players,
fair,
the managers and the staff just need a night out in Pop World. Just just get it off their chest, have a dance, and then turn up next week.
To be fair, this is why he should have gone. If there's that sort of feeling around the changing room, like don't get me wrong, and I mean this with the greatest, hand on my heart. There are some players there that are fucking like Coufal's one of them. Although he's playing well, if you could get rid of them, I would get rid of them. I'll chuck them out of the football club because I don't like that sort of thing. But we need to get a tune out of these people. These are the people at the end of the day that are going to keep us up or take us down. And we need to get a tune out of them. They're assets. We paid a lot of money for them and they're worth a lot of money. So if they haven't got any faith in the manager, which none of us have, let's be honest, they should have changed it. There was clubs that have been in better positions than us. Look at Aston Villa. Aston Villa, when they sacked Steven Gerrard, they saw that there was an issue. They saw that he'd lost the players. They saw that they weren't playing for him. They were 2 points below us. With that draw last week, they just made themselves safe. Yeah? That's where we've got to be this season. That's what we've got to do. We've got to get them points to get us safe. I'll be honest with you. I'm going through our fixture list. I can't see where the points coming from. Unless, we need to start beating these teams around us.
It's not that, mate. Next week, we've got Southampton at home, Newcastle the Wednesday, and Fulham away on the Saturday. That is the week that's going to define whether we stay up or go down. Because they are 3 huge games. And the thing is, they're 3 winnable games. Let's have it right. They're 3 winnable games. You look at the cities, when we play City, you automatically wipe that off because you're not going to get nothing up there. You're lucky to get a point there. We've got to play Liverpool at home. Liverpool's won them games where they're not great this season. We get a couple of wins back to back. But it's about getting that first win, getting that run.
I deludedly think we'll be because we haven't got a big win this season over a big team. No. All the teams around us do. I delusionally think that that's going to be it. That Liverpool at home.
But we ain't like with the big teams we've got coming up, like the top 6 teams. Anything off of them for the rest of the season is a bonus point. We've got to beat the likes of Bournemouth, Fulham, Palace, Southampton. They're the games we've got to pick up points. And if we get 3 points against Southampton next week at home, we go into that game against Newcastle. We got a good point up there at St. James's Park at the beginning of the year. We had a good point. So they're beatable, and then we've got Fulham away. And Fulham at the moment, they're sort of, they remind me of I think they're going to go a bit like us in 2006. When we got to the cup final and we sort of just let the season die out. They've had their, they played last week in the FA Cup. They went out Old Trafford. I think their season now, they might just start dropping a bit more points. But
it's our away form that worries me about that game.
But the thing, but we usually do well at Fulham, and Palace is always the same. They get points at ours, we get points at them. It's always like that. It's all going to pick up the points.
It's all going to depend on how we approach every single game. Now, this is the problem. That starting with Southampton, if we approach the game not wanting, we need to go for the jugular on all these teams around us. If we go with this approach like we did against Villa, not to lose. Look, every team sets out not to lose.
What evidence have you got that we're going to do that?
There's none, and that's what I'm saying. If we don't approach the games like that, we ain't going to beat the teams that are around us, and we'll be in the shit. Coufal coming out with what he said, he's trying to deflect some of the blame away from the players and put it squarely back on the manager. At the end of the day, if the manager sets a team up not just to defend when you're playing the likes of Aston Villa, and let's be honest, we were all at that game. If we had actually gone for Villa, we would have beat Villa. There was no way Villa were beating us on that day.
We got to that point against Villa where we was too scared to lose. We got to the 70th minute and we just too scared to lose. Because if we'd have gone 2-1 down, it would have been so toxic. And rightly so. It would have been so toxic inside the ground, outside the ground. And the players are starting to, they're not willing to go for it. Just give it that extra 10, 20% and go for it. Nick the winner. We don't care how the winner goes in. We don't give a shit. As long as we get that win. But they just sat back. They were scared to lose the game.
I don't think that comes from them, though, Roy. I think that comes from the manager.
Yeah, well, listen, mate. We ain't played Premier League, but we've all played football. You don't always listen to the manager. There's a captain on the pitch that can change players' minds. I've played in teams where a manager said do something, and the captain said, "Fuck that, go up."
I mean,
players win games.
The repercussions, yeah. I suppose the repercussions of doing that, though, in something like the Premier League, is if they do that and then it fucks up. Then,
yeah, but
if
Declan Rice would have said to, I don't know, Ings or whoever, just push us, stay in there, we'll get a winner, and we get the winner. You know, it happens in football. But then I know the flip side, if we lost, you can change a game. The manager tells you something, you go, yeah. You jog over and you tell them something different. Players win games. Loads of players have done that down the years. I spoke to ex-players that have said that they've done that. I've spoken to captains.
I don't think there's people in our side that are capable of doing that.
Well, look,
we ain't got the characters.
They're good enough and talented enough. They're good enough and talented enough. Mate, we've got a character, Kevin Nolan, on. He can walk up to the sideline and say, "Fucking don't listen to him." You know, he's not that he's going to do that. But
yeah,
there are characters in the team. We just need people. They just need to start battling. You know, we're a big football club. There's no
togetherness. There's no togetherness in that side whatsoever.
No, because you look at last season when everything was going right. They're all loving each other, jumping on each other's backs and hugging the manager and that. Now we're not doing so well. They want to go to the press and start slagging players off. The manager's slagging the players off. It's not what we want. We don't need that. Don't need that at the football club, because as soon as that starts happening, you know, there's only going to be one way, and that's down.
Yeah, well, I just think he's not gonna abandon this, like you said, the pragmatic approach this season. He's wedded to it, and people are trying to tell me, "Oh, we played great football. We was attacking the past couple of seasons." You know, we were just good at counter-attacking. We still, and that's what we've given up. It weren't that we was playing this expansive football. We scoring most of our goals through.
To be honest, we haven't been good in the league since November 21.
No,
yeah,
we haven't. That's the harsh facts, because we had a fantastic start to that season. We got enough points. We beat Liverpool, but that was the peak. That was the peak of it for me. Since then, and I think Europe has done us a little fat. And don't get me wrong, I wouldn't change our European adventures for anybody. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. But fact of the matter is that since November 21, we haven't been very good. No. And we've I think the form in this season is a lot worse than last season. At least we picked up a few away wins, and that they are facts. If you look at the stats since then, we won 6 league games. I think 6 league games past November that season, which is it's not good enough. And the manager, the thing is, the manager preempted this, because he looked at that performance at the end of Brighton, when we played Brighton in that season, and some of the performances from some of the players. This is why I think some of the players are to blame. And there should have been a big exodus in the summer, to be quite honest with some of the the deadwood that isn't there, because he turned around and said, if he sees performances like he sees performances today, we'll be fighting at the wrong end of the table.
And how could we have done a big exodus when we already spent shitloads of money and brought in a shitloads of players?
But
then we just have to let players go and not bring new ones in.
You have to do that sometimes.
So yeah, that's what. So who would you
got to let them go and spend money? That's through years of neglect of not maintaining key positions. Mikel Antonio, I'm sorry, but as a centre forward, he's not up to it. When you look at at right, but I know we let the likes of shit like Yarmolenko and all that go, but Ben Johnson, he's not up to it. He's not up to it. Cresswell, he's about 2-3 seasons past Premier League, being a Premier League player, and that's fact. That's fact. And they are.
Do you think then we would have bought another left back and another right back?
No, you have to. We did buy another left back. We bought Emerson, but sometimes you need to get rid of the deadwood. Yeah. Like for all intents and purposes, Antonio this year has been fucking toxic.
The thing is, though, you can't get rid of all them players and spend 200 million, expect to replace 10 players with quality. You're not going to do that.
This is where the manager has to. This is where the manager has to work, and he has to sort of evolve your football. He's just doing the same thing and using the same players in the same positions. Even though he spent 200 million quid, he still wants Mikel Antonio to be that battering ram for him. He's not that anymore.
And that's
He's
the
a one
problem.
trick pony, Moyes. I'm telling you.
Yeah, the problem is he wanted to. You look at the start of the season and the comments we had with Antonio that come out, and he said, we're trying to become a possession-based side. Moyes tried to become a possession-based side with playing the same 11 practically that was counter-attacking. You can't. This is the thing. I get, changing the system, changing the style of play, but. Well, changing the style of play, not even changing the system. Let's be honest, we're still playing last season's system, trying to change the style of play. That's why it doesn't work. You want to play a possession-based game. You need wingers who are going to cross the ball on the natural foot, not keep cutting in inside. There's so many things that Moyes sets up wrong, and that bleeds into the players. You look at the Villa game. There was times that Moyes was screaming at the players to get higher up the pitch, but because he's installed that negative, don't concede, don't lose attitude in the players naturally sink deeper and deeper into our own half, which is the problem. Because he's not setting out with a positive mindset and pushing the players to a positive attitude, going to attack teams, they're then going to get so in their heads, we can't concede, we can't lose, we can't concede, can't lose. You keep doing that, you're not going to want to push up the pitch and try and get a goal.
I think like we're all in agreement that there has to be a change at the football club for the manager, right? I think 98% of the fan base would want that. But I'm sort of now I'm like, I know he's not going, so I'm not going to sit there and waste my energy like some people on Twitter, night after night, day after day, ignoring their kids and their wife while they're sitting on Twitter arguing with a 10-year-old. I'm not going to sit there and do that.
Dan.
I'm not talking about Dan. What I'm saying is, I want Moyes gone. We need a change, but it's not going to happen. So for the rest of the season, I'm going to get behind him. I'm going to get behind the players because I want them to do well. I want to stay up. And in the summer, we part company with David Moyes and we start again with a new manager. I'm not going to sit there. As I said, some people I see waste their life sitting on Twitter when they can't affect nothing. The ball ain't going to go, oh, fuck me, Joe from fucking wherever wants him gone. Let's go. Let's do it because fucking Joe with a fake profile is slagging us off. They're not going to do that. So let's just I'm not saying, look, if you don't like David Moyes, I've changed my mind on David Moyes. I back David Moyes. But it got to about Christmas time when I realised, there needs to be a change. But I'm not going to waste my energy. Probably why I'm the one with most there. Used to a ball and Scott is going.
This is the reason why, that. There's so many arguments because people who back David Moyes, they can change their mind. Sometimes it just doesn't work. It's not like, oh, you wanted him, you was wrong. Yeah, I wanted him when he was doing well. Yeah, but he's not doing well anymore. Yeah. He's regressed. He hasn't evolved. He hasn't evolved the football. It doesn't. Yeah. There is no right or wrong. There is no. There shouldn't be two batches of people. One that's wanted David Moyes. One that always said he was shit. Yeah, because the fact of the matter is, they're two different situations. Last season and the season before, we were brilliant. Yeah, this season he hasn't evolved. He hasn't evolved the football. We've been worked out because he does the same thing. And it's not working, like when they sacked Patrick Vieira. I think they sacked Patrick Vieira a little bit early, to be honest with you. I think it was a little bit harsh on him.
It was harsh, yeah. When you look at it,
but that is the decision they made. They made that decision. They made that tough decision. Something needs to change. Something needs to change. Otherwise, we're going. And this is what our ball don't do. Our ball don't make them changes. But you're right. You're 100% right. There is no point in sitting here whinging and moaning about the manager now. Yeah. Or
but Nick, you say that, but our role in this YouTube space, and the same with everyone, is opinions. We're in the business of opinions, aren't we?
Yeah, we are in the business of opinions.
So otherwise, we might as well.
But there is no point in arguing. What I'm trying to say is no point in arguing between each other about the manager. Yeah, the manager should be gone. Let's be honest. But they're not going to get rid of him. Yeah, but bringing this sort of negative, arguments between each other is not going to help the side, right?
The thing is, we don't. I think even when we go back and I back Moyes and say you and Dan wanted Moyes out at the beginning, Scott was on the fence. None of us ever argued about it. We just thought that's your opinion and you respect it. At the end of the day, it's one of them situations. I do, and I see people waste so much of their life moaning about it and. And as I say, as Nicky was saying, we can't change it.
But
so for the rest of the season,
saying that, yeah, when the time is right, why we need answers as to why they have decided not to, because everybody else, and if this costs us again, this wouldn't be the first time this has happened, because this happened back in 2010 under Abraham Grant, 2011, whatever it was. Yeah. At the end of the day, which we're going to get onto, Scott's going to take some comments now. At the end of the day, it looks like there could be a change of ownership on the cards. But Scott, go on. You've been sitting there doing fuck all morning, all afternoon, all evening.
Been trying to get a word in edgeways. Were you free?
Oh, well, if you get off the fence, you might, be able to.
Someone has to sit on the fence.
Out your ass.
I see why Moyes has to go, but I see why he has to stay as well. That's Scott's.
Mate, that's why it's all about.
And that's why Scott's starring him. That's sort of where I was. I was sort of it was around Christmas time. I was still. I want Moyes to do well. I think it was the Leicester game when we lost at home to Leicester. And I think that was the game where I thought, we need a change. We need a change. And you think it was going to happen, and it didn't, and they backed him. And then we get a couple of decent results. And then you think, oh, yeah, we back him. And then it goes. And it's just one of them up and down situations. But they're not going to get rid of him.
The only thing is, between that is he seems to have rolled the dice when he needed to. And that's a scary situation.
The thing is as well, mate, I think it proved it with Crystal Palace, like getting rid of Vieira. There's not much out there at the moment. So you're going to sack Moyes. Who are you going to get? Everyone goes on about Will Steele. You're not going to get him now. You're not going to get Carrick now.
But the thing is,
I think Sir Trevor till the end of the season, mate.
No, hold on a minute.
He relegated last time.
If they'd have identified this early before Christmas,
did a good job.
Our stock was a little bit higher, and I think we could have got a bigger name.
Oh
manager.
yeah, I agree, mate. If they had done it in January, we probably could have got a big name manager. I'm not saying we would have got him, but obviously Tuchel's gone to Bayern Munich now. Back in January. We might have been able to persuade him to come in for the rest of the season with an extension. It's like someone's just said there about give it to Steve Bruce, mate. We probably would have.
But there is certain things you need, like this is like what we had with David Moyes. In 2015, whatever, 2016 to 2017, whenever it was. Yeah, we need something. We need something different, and we could have went and got Sean Dyche.
You know what they would have done?
I would have taken Sean Dyche. Because
they would have done? They'll sack David Moyes. They'll rehire him. He'll have a moustache and a wig on. They call him David Moyesinho and pretend he's some foreign manager.
But I'm just saying, this geezer laughs, right? We come off the back of coming 7th and 6th and a European semi-final. Yeah. If we had a bad start to the season, if they'd have been pragmatic, not pragmatic, but decisive, proactive. Yeah, that's the word. If they'd have been decisive and said, right, that is fucking shit. That's not good enough for where we want to go. We want a new. They could have got us. They could have got a Tuchel or a Pochettino or someone of that, or some manager from across. Look at fucking what Aston Villa went and picked up. Picked up Unai Emery.
Everton got bloody Ancelotti not that long ago.
Yeah, exactly. Like you laugh at these names, but I think it's the attitude of the club that puts people off.
But would changing the manager before the January window meant that they would have to put their hand in their pocket again, and that's probably why they didn't choose to.
They sack Moyes. They've got to pay him off. Sullivan's going to sell the club in the summer. He don't want no more paying anything off. He just wants to see what happens. It's a big gamble from him. It's a big gamble from Moyes. It's a big gamble from everyone at the football club. So let's just hope that we all pull together and we stay up, and then next season we can just go again with a new manager, new playing staff, and get rid of the deadwood, let Rice go, and then just try to crack on.
Take some comments, Scott.
Get to these comments. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. All right, bye, Nick.
So my computer's running a bit slow this morning. Moyes had a wealthy youth to embed into the squad, and what's he done? Sold them to Newcastle or flogged them on the cheap?
I was going to say, Scott, how slow is your computer's running? Because you said this morning it's like 8:30 at night.
No, Nicky said this morning, didn't he?
You just said it.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm tired, man. How Moyes is still in charge is criminal. I've called 999 so many times. It's coming from Hannah time. come
El
on.
Chico.
Yeah. Has it come up? There we go.
Yeah, you can't see it.
No, right. You let me know when they come up, Dan. I'll read them out. Most of the players have held the group together. Left bit part players last season were huge and together. Noble Fredericks, Martin, Yama, Arthur Masuaku, etc.
I just say it's a good point. Is some players, even though they weren't necessarily a big influence on the pitch, they were quite influential off the pitch and in the dressing room. I think that's key.
That sort of, when you look at the comments from Southgate during the World Cup and during the Euros, when he said like the players that are not getting any game time, that are there training, that are there in the dressing room, they are key parts of the machine that keeps the players in the right mindset. You know, not having players whinging and moaning, and that's where Nicky touched on Antonio being toxic. The fact that you've had someone who's been a key component of the side over the past couple of seasons coming out with, you know, throwing his toys out the pram and that type of thing, it does affect all the players. And this is the thing. This is what I was saying with no togetherness. There doesn't seem to be that togetherness anymore. Chris Reeve, David Moyes is a dinosaur. It's as simple as that. If West Ham generally clear about progression, they have to make a change.
Couldn't agree more, Chris.
Yeah, well, Chris. Nice to see you, mate.
Chris should be careful there, because David Moyes hasn't managed Norwich yet, and he'll end up there in a couple of years.
No, but he would be perfect for Norwich. I was saying that, like, next to no budget, small squad. That is, I'm not even trolling. That's a good project. He's given up on promotion, he said, Chris. So he can manage them, get them up, and keep them in the league for once.
Thompson said, I think Stuart Pearce leaving it in the last season from coaching staff has had a negative effect, and he had a part to play in West Ham's turn in mentality. Craig says, really can't see us getting any more points, lads. We look defeated first whistle straight away. It's been bad before, but I've not seen nothing like this since 2010 season. We are screwed badly. When Pearce left, the way he said Moyes was a defensive manager was damning praise. Way he said it. Matt says, one thing we need to do as fans of the club is stay united. We all have our views, but right now we need us, and that's the fact. At our home games, we need us to be the 12-man, stick together, and hopefully this summer we can re-look at the situation. Hopefully still in the Premier League.
Scott, why are you reading these like you're reading The Cat in the Hat? Can you read? What's going on?
I was just thinking the same. I was thinking, if I ever get someone to read me my last rights, I'm going to let Scott do it because he drag it out a bit longer.
I'm trying not to make a mistake.
He's like that kid who gets asked to read in class and he just wants to get it over and done with.
999 super chat. Cheers for that, mate. Hope the conference don't come back and bite us in the arse.
He couldn't bite us in the arse. And I mean that with straight face, mate. If we win that trophy, I don't give a fuck.
Mate, this is what I said. If we win that Conference League and stay up, no one's going to give a shit about this season where we finished. No, in 3 years' time, no one's going to say, "Oh, fucking, do you remember that season when we finished 15th?" We're going to say, "No, mate. When we won the Conference League and we got a trophy, I don't care what people think about that tournament. We can win that trophy, and I believe that we will. I believe we're being
bloody do, mate.
We're going to end that season."
As we've said, Ryan, many a time, 17th and a trophy and European football next season.
Oh, mate, I've been offered a bet on that if I win, my Tobes, who's a Spurs fan, has to wear a West Ham top with Lawless on the front. But if I lose, I have to wear a fucking Spurs shirt, an Arsenal shirt, and a Man United shirt. And I don't know whether to take it or not. Put my trust in Moyes. Mate, I don't know. Should I take it? Should I take that
tough one, mate?
Nick says Mickey Mouse Cup made by UEFA for dough. Ain't they all?
Yeah, they're all. You can say that about the League Cup. You could say that about the fucking Europa League.
I do understand what Nick's saying, and it does feel like it's what. But a few years ago, everyone was moaning that not enough teams get a chance in Europe. So to have a third tier competition, I know it's not great, but look, it gives teams a chance to have these European experiences. You know, we was lucky enough to play in the Europa League last year, but before that, we never played in Europe, and we didn't even qualify. You know, under Bilic, you know, we went out in the knockout. So it's
But the thing is,
I think it's what Paul Merson said the other day. I think with the Europa League, obviously, when it was the UEFA Cup, everyone loved it, but now it's called the Europa League. people don't rate it and don't like it. And Simon Jordan and what's his name, Martin O'Neill, sitting there saying about the Conference League, like, you've only got to survive relegation to get in Europe now. I mean, I remember when he was Aston Villa manager and he was begging to get in the Toto Cup. Yeah. You know, what these people don't realise is that if you win it, not only do you get a trophy, you get into the Europa League next season. So,
but didn't we get into the qualifying Europa League through fair play?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, because we was too nice.
Yeah, and the thing is, we had a comment on the show last week. Someone turned around and said, "Oh, it's a tournament for losers." Well, it wasn't that long ago. You had a Champions League final with two clubs that hadn't won a major title or their league in 30 years or something like that. You know, so is it for losers as well?
Nick says no, they have a history. They have a history, but they're not the same competitions. They've all been
and they didn't always have a history, did they? When the League Cup first came out, you could have said it because it didn't have a history. When the FA Cup
history has to start somewhere. But I'm just saying, they've all of these things with the league, you know, these little league things are, you know, designed to keep the big clubs in.
Of course,
that's what they've all been rejigged to make sure the big clubs get to the, you know, to the later stages. There's no, you know, it used to be straight knockout. Which, you know,
Nick is right. That Conference League is more to generate more money from UEFA. But at the end of the day, do I want to win it? Of course I do. You know, it's a trophy.
The thing is, we started off this show talking about, you know, we need to stay up and all that, and now we're talking about win the Conference League. What looks the way now is going to be a terrible season. We're thinking about relegation could end up being one of our best in the last 43 years by winning the major trophy. So let's hope we end it on a high.
Everyone forgets the piss taken out on Spurs when they were in it. The reason, do you know what? A lot of people said this to me, yeah? A lot of the reason why people take the piss out of Spurs is because they think they shouldn't be in it.
And not only that, they were playing weakened teams because, as you said, they thought they could just turn up and...
Yeah, they thought they was too good for it. The only reason they was taking, you know, people took the piss out of Spurs is because they think they was too good for it. And they think they thought they was going to book in.
And they were losing.
A lot of people in the chat mentioning about Mourinho, like he cried when he won. He's actually got a tattoo on his arm of it, what he's won. So I think that was the best thing for this competition, for Mourinho to win it first and a massive club like Roma. So
he put a seal of approval on it, you know, and he's won everything. And this is what I was saying to like Chelsea fan who was sort of saying, I don't want to be in that. I was like, you win that, you've completed football. Like you've won everything there is to win then. Why wouldn't you want that? Why wouldn't you want to say, yeah, we've won every trophy possible? It's just there's a snobbery, I think, that goes around. And like Nicky said, or Ryan, one of you guys said it about opportunities for fans. Like Brentford could qualify for it this year. Imagine their fans getting to go away and experience Europe away days.
Well, look at our fans. Like we loved it last season, and every game this season in the Conference League, you know, the fans have been out there supporting the team. Whatever you think in the competition, it gives the fans a chance to have a break from reality and life and go abroad with your mates and follow your football club.
That's brilliant.
There's no experience like it. Yeah. It's amazing.
The thing is, if you're having a really good time, you can do some busking in Romania on the street singing words by Boyzone. Isn't that right, Nick?
I needed to make some money up for the next one. I made 35 cents.
The thing is that, you know, people take the piss out of Spurs. The thing for me is that Spurs were, at the time when they were in that trophy, they were the side that should have gone on to win it. And the fact that they didn't win it is more embarrassing than the fact that they were in it.
With Spurs as well, I think you think a couple of years before they was in the Champions League final, and then a couple of years later they're in the UEFA Conference League and they didn't even qualify. I think that was just where the football banter come out between the fans and that.
Of course, that's it. Look, at the end of the day, if we win that trophy, everyone's going to be happy.
Right, listen. There is more comments on that Coufal interview. He also said that he hinted that he sort of maybe in the know or whatever that Daniel Kretinsky is he referred to him as the future owner.
Well, the quote, he was asked about Moyes' future as a manager, basically as the manager, and he said, "I can't say from my position whether Moyes will be sacked. I don't sit on the board. This is a question for our future owner." Obviously referring to Kretinsky. It means absolutely nothing to me whether he takes full ownership or not.
Well, let me just put this in context as well. This week is the week that the implementation of fines or percentage taken by the LLDC or Newham Council or wherever it may be, it's finished. He can sell now and get 100% of the profit, and that is all he's been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was saying earlier when I said about why he probably didn't sack Moyes, because the least he's got to pay out now, the better for him. For us to still be a Premier League team, be better because he'll get more money if we're in the Premier League. And yeah, it was the other day when it was Wednesday that
it was Wednesday.
Wednesday, wasn't it? So yeah, that's what he's been holding out for. We've known this for years. When me and Nikki was in a meeting a few years ago with Karen Brady, she sort of hinted at that back at then. So we know it's been going on, and it's what the club needs. I think from top to bottom, it needs just to freshen up, reset, and go again from board to manager and playing staff. So yeah, let's hope that it happens.
This is the thing as well. This is where Sullivan will be putting the pressure on Moyes and the players to stay in the Premier League and win this Conference League. Because at the end of the day, if we win that trophy and we're still playing Premier League football next season, like you said, the value of the club will increase because you've guaranteed European football. You've got a European trophy in this previous season. You've got a good stock of players. You know, you've got a good stock of international players. You've got one of the best English players in the Premier League at the minute playing for your club. So the value of the club at the minute, if we stay in the Premier League and win that trophy, will be
and from a business point of view, you know, for what was it, 90 million in 2010? You know, he's going to sell it for a hell of a lot more. You know, he's taken us from whatever we think of the stadium, a 35,000 seat, to 62,000, well, 66 potentially. You know, so as a business point of view, if we do win in the European trophy, we stay up. He's leaving the club in a better position. Not that we think he has, but in a business world he has, and he's going to probably sell it for what, 600 million, maybe even a little bit more.
They valued it at 800 million a couple of years
ago.
Who's
this geezer that's trying to buy Man United, the English bloke that tried to buy Chelsea?
Jim Radcliffe.
Yeah, to come over West Ham, you get a better deal, better fan base. You know,
well, if the Qataris win the bid for Man United, then that's definitely a possibility because I think he really does want a football club.
He wants to pay 6 billion for Man United. Let the others have it. Come and buy West Ham for less than $1 billion. You know,
I know he's have 5 billion into the playing staff, and then we'll be in Man City's position in 5 years' time.
We still have Creswell at left back, though.
Yeah,
yeah.
The thing is, you just need someone to take. You know, you've got all these big money owners trying to buy these big money clubs because they've got that value and got that prestige. But you just need someone to take a punt. You know, look,
mate, I'm telling you now, right? I'm telling you now, and I mean this with the greatest respect. The football's going to be fucked in about 5 years' time. It is going to be just everyone's going to have a fucking billionaire, trillionaire owner, and it's going to be like, you think it's bad now with the branding and all that sort of thing.
Only one team can win the league. Only one team can win the FA Cup. Only one team can win the League Cup. Only one team can win the Champions League. You know, it's always competition. But yeah, you're right. In about 5 years' time, most clubs will be owned by billionaires, and it'll be. But look, if it happens to us, would I want to go down the Man City route? Of course I would. Of course I want to see my team win trophies, the best players in the world playing week in, week out, you know, winning Premier Leagues, you know, Champions League, you know, signing players like Haaland he scored more goals in 110 minutes than I think our top goal scorer this season. You know, so it's crazy, and that's what we want. I want to see that at West Ham. Of course I do. Our history's gone now. Upton Park's gone and everything. You know, so we can't say, yeah, but I want to be that little old West Ham. No, mate, we've got to move with the times. And if a billionaire owner's out there and they want to buy us, they want to pump money into the club and bring the best players in the world to West Ham, I'm all for that. I'm not going to
I was listening to a fan's story the other day, a Man City fan who was, you know, about sort of 15, 20 years ago was talking about how, you know, before the billions come into Man City and how, you know, he was sick to the back teeth of going in the pub with his mates and listening to about his Man United mates saying they're going to Bayern Munich and Real Madrid and all this, and he was going away to Grimsby because that's what was happening. And so he's very, you know, he's very appreciative of what the Sheikhs have done for Manchester City and the memories that they've given them. But
was he the one that done it with Robbie?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, I see that when he was saying that when he was younger he never went to Wembley, but he's been to Wembley 15 times in the last few years, and he's bored of it now. His son's bored of it. Yeah, it was a good interview.
Big Steve, he's a great bloke. He's a top guy, and proper passionate man.
And that's why I do like Man City fans, the old school Man City fans, because they do still appreciate where they was 20 years ago. I remember watching the playoff final when they lost to Gillingham, and if that moment wouldn't have happened, they might not be the Man City they are now. So listen, of course I want to see West Ham win trophies. It's what it's about. It's what football's about. I want to say, I don't care how we do it. As long as the owners are right. That's the main thing. They've got to be right. But yeah, to get the best manager in the world, the best players, of course we want to see that. Who doesn't want to see that?
Let's talk specifically about obviously Coufal hinting. Do you think, right? That's the thing, that Coufal has a heads up on Kretinsky possibly taking over? And he sort of let it slip, or this is guesswork?
We'll know that in about 3 weeks' time if he signs a new 8-year deal on 500 grand a week.
I think he does. I think
I think he does as well.
There's been rumours and things flying around the club for a little while now, and I'll be honest. I'm going to tell you the exact moment that sale's going to go through, and that's about 2-3 weeks after Declan Rice is sold. Yeah, and that's what's going to be happening. When Declan Rice is sold in the summer, about 2 weeks after that, it'll be announced we've got a new owner. He's waiting for that big cash injection to come in, so he can take his little bit out before he, before he's probably due a one of them, the loan payments before then.
But as much as I know what you're saying, where he'll take the cash out from what he's owed or whatever, but the stock of the club then reduces because you're losing that top player. When you look at the value of the squad and the stock of the club, Rice is the key part of it, because Rice is by far the best player at the football club.
Yeah, but we're losing him.
Yeah, but this is it. But we're losing him.
We're resigned to lose it. We're going to lose him, whether the club gets sold or it doesn't get sold. We're losing him.
But this is the thing. But the problem you've got is that we're resigned to losing him, but a new owner might not be resigned to losing him.
And that's a key thing, Scott. If a billionaire takes over and they speak to Rice and say, "Look, this is the plans we've got," I'm sure Rice will be more than happy to do another year at least. Just to see. You never know, and fingers crossed, because Rice is a great player. I know he wants out of the football club, but he's not down tools. He'll give everything into that last whistle on the final day of the season. And he'll want to make sure that he leaves us as a Premiership football club. So,
and that is the thing, isn't it? There's no real guarantees going, because I'm not saying that he won't want to leave.
I'm going to say the same thing to you and Craig. Come on now, be realistic.
Listen.
Realistic.
No, listen to what I'm saying, right? I'm not saying, oh, Rice wants to stay. Here's what I'm saying. If we don't get an offer that we deem to be acceptable, and clubs aren't willing to pay what we deem acceptable, and it gets the deadline day, and how these deals, some people are thinking Rice is gone first day of the window. That's not how it works. This is going to be a drawn out transfer. And
of course it is, because it's big money. We want big money for him. And there's a lot of negotiating to be done. Like all of this, don't listen to any of this fucking bollocks that you listen to about, he's agreed to go to Arsenal, because it doesn't matter if he's agreed to go to Arsenal. He could agree to go to anyone. At the end of the day, it is down to West Ham what they accept for him. If Arsenal, Declan Rice has agreed to go to Arsenal. How much has Arsenal offered? Go back to the Luis Suarez deal, 40 million and £1. No, fuck off then. You're not having him.
Yeah.
It's not happening like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Sullivan would snap that extra quid up quicker than anything, mate.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying, like, people think like all these people that are saying, like, I see Arsenal Fan TV doing it a lot. Talking about Declan Rice. One, let's see if he's already fucking signed for him. And two, as if they're fucking already won the league. They ain't winning this league.
They was all going on the other day. Rice has agreed to join Arsenal because he said hello to Saka at the England training camp.
Oh, they're fucking idiots, mate.
What's he meant to do? See Saka come in the door and go, no, and walk away?
Honestly, such idiots. Just this, right? This is a big misconception that Rice has one more year left. This next year is his last year. And people keep forgetting that we have a year extension that we can exercise on the deal. So effectively, well, it's 2 years. Why would we not exercise that additional year? Because even if we're going to sell him, well, then it gets us more money because he's got an extra year. So you stop thinking, oh, he's got 1 year. It's 2 years. Yeah, just put that in your minds. 2 years. That's what it is. There's no way we don't. Nah,
we're not going to not extend his contract.
That's it, because they're not going to have that situation where he could walk away on a free, or 6 months down the line. If the right bids don't come in for the club and we keep him 6 months down the line, he can then talk to foreign clubs about signing a pre-contract. So
to be honest, Rice goes with my blessing. To be honest, he goes.
Well, every West Ham fan's blessing. I think no one would, and I think if he ever come back, obviously when he comes back to play, he'd get a good reception. No doubt about that. He's every West Ham fan wants to see him. Yeah, everyone wants to see him succeed, and it'd be nice to see him win trophies. Hopefully, he'll win his first trophy with us in June when he wins that Europa Conference League.
Guy who I assume is an Arsenal fan is thinking, why are you so salty about Arsenal? Just accept Declan Rice will probably go there and he will be successful winning trophies. I'll tell you what, Guy, come back in the summer. Come back in the summer when you can talk about trophies, mate, because you have won nothing just yet. Nothing.
Yeah, he's saying he'll go and win plenty of trophies. They ain't winning.
He won't go to Arsenal and win plenty of trophies. If he goes to Arsenal, he'll win the odd couple of trophies. He won't win plenty. He goes to City, he goes to United.
If he goes to Spurs, he won't win nothing now.
My
mate, I was speaking to my mate the other day. He's a big Tottenham fan. I swear he's on the verge of crying with me. He went to me, don't win that Conference League. I went, what? He went, don't win. He said, because if you win that, he said, we've had 10 years of being in the Champions League and, going close. If you fuckers win that, he said, it'll break my heart. I went, I hope we win it now, and I hope we win it convincingly as well.
Oh, mate, the summer is going to be beautiful. Certain fans are going to be getting
Craig Cowell says Sign Mount and Rice stays. No.
Mount's off to, I think he's off to Newcastle or Liverpool.
Mount is not coming to us for one, and for two, even if we sign Mount, he ain't staying.
Sign Fredericks back.
Otherwise, he would have stayed at Chelsea, wouldn't he? Or he would have went to Chelsea a long time ago.
Well, he didn't have the chance to stay at Chelsea. That wasn't his choice.
Oh, no. But I'm just saying he could have gone back to Chelsea many moons ago.
Well, yeah. Quickly before we move on to the Sarri thing, what do we think about Kretinsky as a sole owner, as a full owner?
I don't really know much about him. We don't really see him or hear from him, do we? So
yeah, and that's the thing. We made that big spend in the summer, and everyone was curious over was Kretinsky behind that spend because we weren't used to it. But yeah, I can't get excited because I'm still not convinced. I have my worries the way he conducts business. It seems like he invests into different companies, loads, Royal Mail for one, to make a profit. So he's not like some other managers that are like, yeah, I'm doing this for my ego and I want to just pump money in to try and have the best, biggest club possible because it's a status thing. He seems like he's in the business of making profit, and that can come at the expense of our club. I'm not writing him off. I'm just saying there's a few red flags for me that I can't get excited about it. And I kind of would like him to facilitate maybe another owner coming in and him making profit on these shares. If he buys Sullivan's shares and sells the whole thing, he makes a profit that way. Do you know what I mean?
I think he will probably buy either Gold or Sullivan's shares, and then hopefully another investor will come in. I don't think he's rich enough to do it on his own, so he will need another investor and another backer. So
his wife has got fucking 20 billion she's inherited. Get her in.
Yeah, but you know what some women are like. The men have got to pay for everything, ain't they?
That's right.
The thing is, Dan, you don't really get involved in football clubs, especially Premier League football clubs, to earn a profit.
No, not really. It's not the quickest profit.
Exactly, because you look at the look at Chelsea, for instance. I know they got sold the way they got sold and all that, but the amount of money they've spent through the years to have the success that they've had to then go, when you look at what he bought it for and what he sold it for, he made a profit, but did he really over the years?
That profit was. He didn't want to make that profit. He didn't want to sell the club. He would have happily kept it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
these clubs, mate, like these aren't like apart from the Man Cities and that, these clubs are self-sufficient. They make so much money through for everything. West Ham is self-sufficient.
It's self-sufficient.
Sullivan has put fuck all into West Ham. Nothing.
Yeah, but West Ham's self-sufficient, but still in debt because no one's got rid of the debt. That's the thing.
We're in debt
which
Sullivan.
was meant to be cleared.
Yeah,
it was cleared, and the debt was taken on by Gold and Sullivan.
Yeah.
They took on the debt, so
but
they
took on the debt, and by loaning money to the football club, and in taking out their repayments, that's interest. So
that's what it's like. Have you ever been in debt to someone, right? To a company, and they sell your debt on to someone else?
Yeah.
And then you're just in debt to someone else. Then there's interest and all of this.
It's the same as what the Glaziers have done with Man United. They moved their debt from their American football team and shipped it in United because United, they earn enough money, and now they're trying to shift United, and they'll make their money. Yeah, the club will be out of debt once we get new owners, but the club still is indebted to Sullivan and Gold because they're still charging.
It's still a debt. Yeah. It's not free money. They haven't cleared the debt. They've just moved the debt into them. So we stopped paying. Yeah. We stopped paying some interest rate that was madness.
Yeah. He's just a very quiet man, and it's not like when Gold and Sullivan came in, they talked a lot. They sold us a lot of dreams. West Ham fans hyped us up. It's like we don't know what to expect from the guys, and I think that's probably to his credit that he's so quiet and he's not, big mouth like Sullivan.
The thing is, as well,
he don't know what to expect. So I think
I've got to say this before we start moving on to sort of like the I suppose the game next week. We have a game this week, is there? I was very saddened to hear about David Gold's daughter passing, which was really out of the blue for me. I didn't even know she was ill. I thought she was only young. So yeah, I think that's really sad news.
Yeah,
really
no, it is.
I don't know whether you mentioned that last week.
We did. Yeah, we paid our condolences on behalf of everyone. So yeah, there's 4 comments starred here. 3. So we got thoughts on Everton of FFP troubles. That could hopefully. I mean, look, points deductions are very, I think, quite rare. But that could help keep us up if that happens.
That won't happen this season. That won't happen this season.
It has to happen in the season that they're found guilty.
Yeah, so they'll long that out to next.
Yeah, so Wigan have just been deducted points again, haven't they? Because they haven't paid their players.
Who?
Wigan.
Oh, bloody hell.
And now their players have gone on strike.
Yeah. Guy says, Nicky, I'm actually a West Ham fan. I just said, as Arsenal were a very good side, I'd rather see Rice there than go Chelsea. No, I don't want him to see him go there. No fucking way. Got anything to say to that, Nick? You started.
Arsenal, very good side. They're a good side. Yeah, they're a good side. The problem I had with that comment is that you said they'd win loads of trophies. I don't know what evidence you've got for that.
Yeah.
Because they haven't won a league title in 20 years.
I don't know what this related to. $9.2 million net worth, apparently. You can't be talking about Kretinsky. He's got, I think he's worth like 5 billion or something. I'm sure it's 5 billion. 9.2 million. That's less than Delia Smith. You know what I mean? So
that's less than Graham.
Yeah.
yeah, fucking hell. But yeah, so there's that. So let's quickly look at the last big topic.
Can I just say something, right? Just quickly. I know we're going to run over if we do that, right? I've got to say this about, just following on from the Declan Rice conversation. If anyone ever doubted how good Declan Rice was, that game last night, he run the fucking show. He run the show. He was the best player on the pitch by a country mile. He scored a goal, which was taken like an expert. I hope that sort of opens a few people's eyeballs because, you know, it's always been like this since he came. He will not be appreciated by the country until he plays for one of the top 6 sides, when he really starts testing himself. That's you know, that's why, you know, Rice is, you know, his stock is so high, is that, you know, the real football people do understand that he's a good player. This criticism that he gets, you know, watch that. That is an excellent Italy side with some excellent players in it, and he run the show. He run it.
Yeah, he played well last night. I thought England done well up until the last 20 minutes when they backed off a bit. But yeah, look, the hardest game in the group that we could have had Italy away, we won. So we're going to smash the group like we do all the time. I mean, who else we got in there? Ukraine, Malta, fucking Toby Carvery, FC. I don't know who we got in there. It's just England have won the biggest game in that group. So we'll go on now. And it was and look, glad to see Harry Kane break the record. You know, he's it was good. It was a good night for England last night. It was what we needed after a disappointing tournament.
Toss pot Dom.
What?
Was having a go at him for fucking. Why didn't you do that last summer? I said to him, I've seen you try and kick the ball, you fat bastard. How can you fucking saying it in?
No, it was good last night. It was good, very, very good first half. It was like you said, Rice. I think someone commented earlier, the Italian commentators were saying Rice is everywhere. On numerous occasions, they said that he bossed our midfield. You know,
and you know what though? I was sitting there watching it in the clubhouse, and I was, when Scamacca come on, there was a part of me that was thinking, I hope he scores. I hope we get another one. I hope he scores. But Rice was unbelievable last night. And,
people was using that, him not starting, to have a dig at other fans who said that he should have been starting for West Ham recently, and I thought that was very disingenuous, very just sneaky from people, because what that is you know, Mancini said, you know, if you haven't been playing, you're not starting. Yep. And he hasn't been playing, and that's fair enough. It's not, people are assuming that, oh look, you think Scamacca's good, like this is West Ham fans shitting on a West Ham player as usual. You think he's good, he's not even starting for Italy. The agendas against our players are absolutely ridiculous, honestly.
And I'm quite certain that the guy that started up front's been banging form for his club, so he's going to start in front of him.
Yeah, Scamacca's been injured for quite a while. He's only just come back. He started one game in the Conference League. That's it.
I think Scamacca's going to he's going to play a big part in us staying up this season. Scamacca, you know, I like the look of him again in the European game the other week. Would have given him a little bit of confidence getting the goal. You know, once we get, I think Cornet coming back as well is going to make a difference. You know, I've been impressed with him since he come back.
As long as he stays on side.
Yeah, as long as he stays on side, he'll be all right. But yeah, I think Scamacca's definitely got a big part to play for the rest of the season, especially in Europe.
Yeah, for sure. I just thought that, I just thought it was pretty pathetic from some fans digging him out for no reason.
What's his last subject, Dan?
Speaking of Italy, Maurizio Sarri has been rumoured in the Italian press to be lined up by West Ham as Moyes' replacement in the summer. So we're interested, and we're looking to go in for him. He's being linked with a United Arab Emirates move, big money move, which he could turn down. I think he's linked with Spurs as well. But yeah, that to me, I mean, I think he's older than Moyes, but I think that's quite exciting for me, because we talk about pragmatism. You know, we could play some really good football under Sarri.
I just want him to come to West Ham so I can see him like a fag up on the sideline.
Yeah, there's something about him that has a bit of a West Ham to him, with it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but as good as a manager Sarri has been, let Tottenham have him. Because I'm not fucking pulling more these fucking managers out from retirement to fucking come to West Ham. Like
what is this ageist thing now? All of a sudden, that if you're over a certain age, you can't be a manager. Like Sarri's a top manager. Why would you not want him at West Ham?
I don't know.
He's not been retired. He's been at Lazio, isn't he?
No, he has been at Lazio, yeah, but he's old now. Old boy.
But the thing is, with managers like Sarri, that if they're old, they haven't got to be on the training ground every day doing the training. That's what coaches are for. He's there to pick a team, and I'd have him at West Ham all day long.
The same as Pellegrini. This is just my opinion. I'm not, I could be totally wrong, but same as Pellegrini. Just let him retire. Let him go off to the Arab Emirates and fucking.
But Pellegrini went back to Spain after West Ham and done really well. I think he won a trophy after he left us in Spain.
I think everyone's getting into this. They want Will Steele now because he's like a West Ham fan and he won Championship manager or whatever 10 years ago. And everyone wants these young managers. Like, look at Gerrard, look at Lampard. It doesn't always work out. Like, Sarri's a top class manager. I'd take him at West Ham. Like,
the thing is, mate, it could be a top class manager. I don't think he'll have the tools to do what he needs to do at West Ham.
But he's not going to come to West Ham without having the tools. So if we've got the tools to give him,
it depends. It depends.
If Sarri come in that changing room tomorrow, he has got the tools because there's good enough players there with the right management that can he can change that around. He's a top class manager. I'd take him all day long. I'm not worried about how old he is.
He likes to play 4-3-3. I think I mean. I think that can really suit us. And we talk about we won't fit us. What are we gonna do? We just get another defensive manager then because they'll have the tools because that's what we've been playing. No, I do want a young manager. I would like a young manager if there's available. But when someone of that caliber is available, I can't turn it down. And part of me would even like I'd be very tempted at what's his name, Bielsa. I can't lie. Because I miss watching us play good football.
No, I'm going offline.
To be fair, Nick, he's only 64. He's only 64. Sorry, that's 11 years younger than
I don't get what this age has got to do with anything. If you're a good manager, you're a good manager. Don't make a blind bit of difference how old you are. I'm one for saying with these young managers, let them cut their teeth if they're doing.
I ain't signed Trevor Brook in them. You're a good player. Don't matter how old you are.
But playing is completely different to managing.
Yeah, that's different.
Is it?
Managers,
exactly.
Yeah, of course it is.
One's a physical thing. One's a mental.
Why ain't Alex Ferguson still managing then? Greatest manager of all time.
Because he chose to retire. He was like
71
to retire. He still goes to the games, doesn't he? He still sits in the stand. He wanted to pass it on and let someone else.
Why don't he fucking manage then? If age don't matter, why ain't he managing?
Because he probably didn't want to.
It's stressful. You know what I mean?
Because
70.
You know why? You know why? I'll tell you exactly why, Alex Ferguson. Because he knew that Man United was coming to an end under him, and he didn't want to manage any other football club. Yeah. He could have gone on to manage the Scotland national team if he wanted to. He could have managed in any club would have took him. Real Madrid would have took him.
That's the same with Wenger to a lesser degree at Arsenal. To a lesser degree, I think he could have continued in management. But yeah, look, and look, there is a lot. It is exciting when you can get a young manager, a young project who's got fresh ideas. But I think when you get a manager like Sarri or that caliber, I think that they're so good and they've got so much quality there to impart that it's not like they're just out of touch with football. He doesn't strike me as like a Hodgson. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's, I think, quality. And if he comes in and he can play good football with West Ham and we're entertained, let's get that West Ham back. Like, Ryan said, we're never going to be that little old West Ham that we loved, but on the pitch, we can be the West Ham that we all fell in love with.
It's about, the thing is as well, it's about the respect. Because if them players, like, say for instance, like them players we've got now, Sarri walks in that dressing room, them players are going to sit up. This is an elite manager. This is someone. Hang on, mate. Let me finish. Look, what I'm saying is they sit up. But if Will Steele walks in, there's players there older than him. They're going to think, fucking, what's he talking about? You know what I mean? It's just having that.
That kind of went against AVB, didn't it, at Chelsea?
Yeah, some people wouldn't take Jose Mourinho at West Ham. I find that mad that people would beg to have Scott Parker, who can't even do it in Belgium. But they want him at West Ham.
No, but
Michael Carrick. Listen, Michael Carrick's had a great season at Middlesbrough. Don't get me wrong, and it'd be nice to see him get promoted, but he won't last 10 minutes at West Ham.
It doesn't work like that. Look, why if it's that easy, like, you know, a manager can come in, you know, different clubs are suited to different people. I just don't think we'd be suited for him. I don't think they'd give him the tools. The same way Ancelotti walked into right, as fucking eclipses anything Sarri's ever won. He went to Everton and got the sack.
Yeah, no, he didn't get the sack. He didn't get the sack.
He walked away. He walked away. Why did he walk away?
Real Madrid come
Real Madrid, yeah. You don't say no to Real Madrid.
He done jack shit for Everton.
No, he was good for it. He was one of their better managers.
I think if I remember when he left them, they were like 7th in the table. Just remember they signed Rodriguez as well. That was a big name at the time for them.
Yeah, he brought them in.
Yeah, when Real Madrid come knocking, you can't say no. Just like when Benitez was going to sign for us and Real Madrid knocked on the door. You can't turn your nose down to Real Madrid.
Especially when you're a Real Madrid is your club. You know what I mean? And I just think so. Nick, tell me what tools you think he would need. Someone like Sarri, what tools would he need?
What, Sarri
at West Ham? Yeah,
complete control. And they'll never give him that.
But with a new ball, that may come.
Still, or Carrick, or any of them need that then?
Sorry,
like what could they do? So if he would need complete control, you know, why would the younger managers not need that then?
Why wouldn't they?
Why, yeah, why? Like if you would prefer another manager because we ain't got the tools for Sarri, what makes you think we got the tools for these other managers? These more inexperienced managers.
I like the fault, and this is just my opinion. You know what I mean? I'm just, you know, don't fucking shoot me down. I like the fault of a young progressive manager because they're still learning. And I don't like that. This is why we're in this position with Moyes. He's stuck in his ways, and I think this is one thing about football now. Football is changing. It's ever evolving. You have to work with the times. And I think these older managers. Look at Conte at Spurs. Conte is a fantastic manager. Yeah, but these players, they're different type. They're different breeds now, mate. You know, and he come out in that press conference the other day and just turned around and went, "It's accepted here," and that's what it is at West Ham. It's accepted. It's accepted.
Spurs are the only club where he's never won a trophy.
Yeah, I know, but that's just what I'm saying. Like, and that's why he's got the fucking arsehole, and that's why he's, you know, on the fucking verge of walking out. Is that, you know,
Conte's got history of doing that. Gary Neville said this the other year, and this is why when I remember him doing the interview, they showed it the other day when they were saying about Conte to Man United. He said, "No, I won't want him because he goes somewhere for 2 years and then he leaves." Yeah, and that's what he does. Yeah. So,
and Sarri as well is when you look at Conte, Tottenham was a step down from everywhere he'd ever been, whereas Sarri's coming from.
Oh, what? And fucking Sarri, West Ham ain't for Sarri, no.
Well, Lazio's not exactly a massive step like this. This massive step up.
No,
look at it. No, but is it? But okay, how many league titles they compete for every season?
How many won it the other year, didn't they?
How many? How many Champions Leagues?
How many fucking league titles we competing?
No, but I'm not saying we are.
Dan, please.
I'm just saying.
Have a look at their history before you talk about Lazio.
No, they've got history.
They're a much bigger club than West Ham. I'm sorry, but they are. I'm not
saying that, Nick. But I'm talking about in terms of what you can attract and where you are right now and what you can do with a club and the resources you can be given. And you look at the teams. He's not playing in the biggest clubs in Italy. He's not playing for one of the biggest clubs in Italy. It's not like fucking going from.
I don't want a manager that has to go and spend because we haven't got the power to spend. We need someone that's gonna develop people and be there for the long term. I'm sorry, but if Sarri coming to West Ham right now, he's not going to be there for the long term.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything about you can say.
I don't think managers stay anywhere long term no more. It's changing. Like managers now, 2-3 years, maybe 4 years. You know. I guarantee when Guardiola leaves City and Klopp leave Liverpool, they'll have about 2 or 3 different managers in the space of 5 years.
No, but I know, but I think you have to, for the likes of us to compete in anything, we have to go with that model. We have to. The Red Bull model that they're all fucking banging on about right now.
For us to compete, ain't that about having the right owners with the money to compete?
This is the thing. It's about what the owners want. And what the owner's vision is for the football club at the end of the day. You know, at the end of the day, the owners set out the vision of where they want the club to go and how they want the club to go forward. So they've then got to decide who's the right person for that. This Red Bull model is a Red Bull model with trying to win some trophies, bringing youngsters through and selling them for as much money as possible. It's the West Ham model, just without fighting relegation every year. Let's be honest, because that's what we've done. We've done that many a time, but the only thing we never done was won anything while we were doing it.
It's going to be interesting, like once David Moyes does leave, what route they're going to go down. Are they going to go for the big name? Are they going to go for the young type to come in and try? But I just think with the younger manager, I think if they come in and it don't go well, it don't start off well, the pressure that's going to be on them. The pressure is going to be on them. Someone like Sarri can probably take that.
Yeah,
I think that's the issue for whatever happens after Moyes goes is, what do you do? I would have taken a Sarri, before Christmas, because I think we would have had enough to kick on from there. Starting back from where we are, knowing we're going to lose this, knowing we're going to lose that. I don't trust the owners to give him the tools to do anything.
Well, we don't know who the owners are going to be.
It will just become disillusioned with life.
So you'll have took him when he's 63, but not when he's 64.
Exactly.
By the way, Nick, I don't know what you was talking about. Lazio did not win a league title recently.
They was close to winning a league title.
Do you know what? I don't
know in their history. They've won 2.
It's 2 fucking more than we have.
Okay, so that makes this big difference.
I don't really watch Italian football no more, but obviously, like watching the Champions, I didn't realise how Napoli are smashing that league.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're
I think it's their first title in I can't remember what they said. It's been a few years since they've last won it.
It's opening up again, isn't it? Because AC Milan won it last year, I think.
It's mad, isn't it? Because I remember back when I was younger, Italian football was massive. You remember Channel 4 every Sunday?
Yeah.
It was massive.
I saw some people were saying we should try and get bloody Nagelsmann, but there's no chance. I don't think even Spurs are going to get him from Bayern Munich. He's just been sacked really unfairly, done a really good job at Bayern Munich. They've gone and got Tuchel in, and now Spurs are sniffing around and people are saying we should go, but that's a non-starter, that, to be honest.
Spurs seem to have a checklist at the minute. Has he managed Chelsea? If it says no, they don't go for him.
Yeah. That's
Can we just mention about Soccer AM, rest in peace, 30 years? But apparently, Fenner's come out and tweeted today, though, that it might not be done. They haven't been made redundant. They're in talks about another project. I'd like to see it be called Soccer PM and do an after show after the games. And
I remember when they tried to do Cricket AM.
No, but what I mean is do it different. Do it like a sort of not match of the day style, but they talk about the games and get guests on and things like that, and let them after the watershed, let them go back to old Soccer AM. A few fucking characters in there. It's it is poor. I still watch. I don't watch it. I record it and I skip and watch the challenges. I like the fans doing the volleys and I like the pro-am. That's all I
ain't really watched it since fucking Tim Lovejoy left.
Mate, I said the other day, everyone was going on about, oh, yeah, I remember when it was 3 hours long. I said, mate, I'm old enough to remember when it was 4 hours long.
4 hours, yeah.
8 to 12.
Yeah, but a lot of the time when I was a fucking young teenager, I used to wake up and it'd be finished by the time I woke up. But
it was
the only thing with that show become unfunny.
Yeah, the only thing with that show is that obviously everything's got its time, yeah, and it was peak back when Lovejoy was on it, and I don't think they revitalized it enough, if that makes sense. They didn't switch it up enough, like often enough. They would literally, something that was brilliant, for a couple of years, and like the question by Tubes, and I love Tubes. Tubes is a fucking funny guy and all that sort of thing. And when that first came out, it had everyone in stitches. They run it for about 10 years. Like it just got too.
Yeah, someone just said there. I was watching a video earlier about the dance off when they used to do the dance off at Christmas and things like that, and they used to do the topless weather and the skits with the hammerettes. I know you put hammerettes, the soccerettes. I know you couldn't get away with that now these days.
No, that's another thing. Yeah,
it's all gone. Yeah, it's all gone like Chris just said there. It's gone too PC, and you got to be very careful what you do and say now. But like back in when I was watching it as a kid, like I remember me and Graham was talking about this last night. Remember when we went to that Coca-Cola event and we met Rocket there?
Yeah.
And I was standing there and I was talking to Rocket and I was saying to him about, I remember when you first come on, you was an apprentice at 15 years old. And I was talking about all these things and he was going, bloody hell, like, how do you remember all that? I remember, do you remember the Cockney sketch? We love it, love it, love it, love it. Things like that were brilliant. Like, and you used to have a Frankie Fryer keep your nut down the away days thing. But you just can't do that no more. And it's a shame. It's a shame. I'm just glad I was alive when and lived the times when Soccer AM was at the peak.
Yeah, best of luck to him. Best of luck to him. Josiah's put in a super chat, £2 super chat, said, I would like Sarri. And then he put in a £5 super chat and said, I would like Sarri. Thank you very much, Josiah. You had to stick it in twice. I was getting round to
£7 quid on 2 Sarris.
Yeah, so listen, he really wants Sarri. Thank you very much, Josiah. We appreciate it, my friend.
I'll tell you what, if you put a tenner in, Nicky might change his mind. I'm only joking.
Okay, that's another. I want to get Sarri.
Somebody asked me what was happening with the Emirate Out podcast. It's been recorded. It's going out tomorrow.
Yeah, all right. I was going to wait and leave that to the end.
We didn't have a game. I thought we'd put it out tomorrow.
Okay, I was just trying to get some Sarri comments before I got to them ones. Stevie Ray says, no such thing as a project manager if you are a Prem club. At the moment, anyone would be improvement on Moyes tactics-wise. Nicky, I don't know who you fucking started this. Nicky, have a Snickers. You're not you when you're hungry. When's the last time you had a Snickers, Nick?
Yesterday.
Christmas?
No, yesterday. I had one yesterday.
Christmas?
That's the last time I had one.
What, had a celebration bar?
Oh, fuck off, Scott. You talk some shit, you do. I've seen your fucking tits.
I'm not a lover of Snickers.
El Chico says, Sarri is not better than Pellegrini. Pellegrini has won way more in the game. I think we played better football under Sarri than we did under Pellegrini. Red 5 says, Brighton have proven that philosophy is way more important than the manager. And he also put in a 499 super chat, bring back Kelly Brook and the big breakfast.
I agree with that.
Johnny Vaughan there.
But that's what I touched on when I was saying about the direction that the club wants to be taken in. You know, Brighton have their direction they want to go, and then they bring managers in that they feel will suit that direction. At the moment, our ball don't have a direction.
Well, that's what you'd hope Noble would get involved with, you know, and as director of football and sort out the direction of the football. You know,
just fucking started there. It's been there for fucking 2 months. You give him a chance.
What do you mean? Well, it's the summer. The summer's the perfect time to do that.
Yeah,
what are you going to do? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'd hope that he would be responsible for. You know, is helping decide that and go, okay, we're going to play this, and then we can have that continuation going on. And then, quickly just touch on this. I think everyone just thinks it's a load of bollocks. What do you think about the 7 p.m. Sunday kickoff against Man United?
You know what? I sort of tweeted about it, and then I realised that it's a bank holiday, but it don't make any difference. I mean, it's still going to be train strikes most probably, and it's a weird one, isn't it? It's 7 o'clock on a Sunday.
Has that ever been done before? I've never known a 7 o'clock Sunday.
I think they have. I think it was more. I think they done it during lockdown, which I mean, I've never been to a game at 7 o'clock on a Sunday before, so be a new experience for me. Usually, I'm all tucked up in bed, moaning about work the next day, crying.
Well, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you everyone for joining us. Do go and check out the video I done with Alfie West Ham online, where we ranked every single manager in history, from Sid King through to Greenwood, Lyle, bloody Lou Macari, Avram Grant, all the way to Moyes, and it was a lot of fun to make, and really got to dive into the history of the football club and what a interesting and rich and fantastic history we have. So go and look at that and see if you agree with any of the rankings. There's been a bit of controversy about where we've put certain managers. Who was the best? Who was the worst? I'd be very interested. I have to do with you boys once. I'd be very interested to hear what you boys think about who goes where. You know, especially Graham. He lived through most of those managers.
All of
I
it.
think he was there in
I think Graham hired Sid King. Graham took him on an Alton cart to his signing.
Bloody hell.
Maybe we should do that video. Maybe we should do that. Where we all
What's that?
go
Like
through it again and give our opinions and see if we match up with what you said.
Yeah, like I said, it was a lot of fun. So do expect I will be doing more of that style of video myself. I've got a lot of plans for that, a lot of ideas. So look out for that. Anything else? Hammer It Out podcast is coming out. Nicky said
tomorrow morning it'll be out.
Tomorrow morning he's gonna hammer it out. And that's it. Is that anything else, guys?
Sounds like Nicky and I in that, Bruno, I see him having out a few times in the morning.
Fuck
off. Oh God. Well, like I said, thank you everyone for watching. Super chats, regular chats. You've made this show what it is. Thank you all, lads, and we'll see you next time. One thing left to say: come on, you.